But that ocean belongs to me, because where is my ocean? I am entitled to that ocean. In future, we are going to have wars.
At a time when President Yoweri Museveni's words are echoing across East Africa, that ocean belongs to me. In the future, we are going to have wars. Something unusual is happening quietly on Kenyan soil. While Kenyans debate whether the Ugandan leader was joking or issuing a veiled threat, his soldiers have crossed the border, not for battle, but for meetings. A Ugandan military delegation is in Nairobi, and their arrival couldn't have come at a more sensitive moment. On Wednesday, a team from the Uganda People's Defense Forces landed in Kenya for an official visit. According to the Kenya Defense Forces, the group was here for a benchmarking exercise at the Defense Forces Welfare Services, a program focused on improving soldiers' welfare and their families' well-being. But the timing, just hours after Museveni warned of future wars over access to the Indian Ocean, has fueled speculation. Many are asking, is this purely coincidence or quiet diplomacy in camouflage? The controversy began when Museveni, speaking during an interview earlier this week, questioned why landlocked nations like Uganda should depend entirely on Kenya for sea access. In his words, quote, "That ocean belongs to me because it is my ocean. I am entitled to that ocean. In the future, we are going to have wars." End of quote.
The political organization in Africa is so irrational. Some of the countries have no access to the sea for economic purposes, but also for defense purposes. You are stuck. How do I export my products? That's why we have got endless discussion with Kenya, then this one stops, then another one comes, then the railway, the pipeline, the what, we discuss.
The remarks were immediately condemned by many Kenyans online, while some calling them reckless and provocative. But to Museveni's supporters, it was simply a metaphor, a statement about regional inequality and economic frustration.
Again, the timing of his remarks, at this time, there are heated campaigns in Uganda. He is seeking for a re-election, which he calls his last term. And could it be that he's speaking to the Ugandans' ears what they want to hear?
Leading the Ugandan delegation was Major General Francis Tikirwa, Deputy Commander of Ugandan's Land Forces. His team's activities were extensive. They tortured the Moi Air Base in Isli, held closed-door meetings with Kenyan officers, and visited DEFWES headquarters and DEFWES Mall in Embakasi. The focus was officially to enhance the welfare of soldiers, but insiders note that these military exchanges often double as strategic diplomacy, especially when political rhetoric is heated. In essence, while Museveni spoke of war, his army was busy building friendship.
For the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, to come out at this particular time to specifically hint of a looming war between Uganda and Kenya, to reclaim, or to claim, let me say to claim what he terms as rightfully belonging to the Ugandans, then it becomes quite absurd, and I would call it deeply dangerous.
I don't think President Museveni will want to draw Uganda into yet another war soon. And of course, this time now, an international war, away from the internal conflicts in Uganda. And I think Ugandans are also aware of this, and history has it that when Uganda waged war against Tanzania in 2 occasions, it suffered most during the War of Mutukula of around 1969-67, and then the Sabasaba War of 1970.
The Kenyan government finally broke its silence. Speaking to the press on Wednesday, November 12, Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Song'ei clarified that Museveni's comments had been taken out of context, describing them as metaphorical rather than literal. But even with that clarification, Kenya's defense establishment treated the Ugandan visit with quiet caution, maintaining openness but observing closely. Military cooperation continued as usual, but the diplomatic temperature was unmistakably tense. During the visit, the Ugandan officers held a courtesy call with the commander of the Kenya Air Force, Major General Bernard Waliula. Discussions focused on institutional learning and shared welfare practices. General Waliula encouraged the team to adapt Kenya's welfare structures to improve soldiers' lives back home. Observers, however, viewed the visit as a subtle reassurance, an opportunity for both militaries to reaffirm stability, even as their leaders' words raised igniting political tension.
I will not comment much on what His Excellency President Museveni said with respect to our oceans, but I believe very much that he does have a fairly great understanding with respect to the nature of our territory, and the nature of our right with respect to our natural resources, and his right with respect to natural resources within Ugandan territory.
For many analysts, the message is clear. Despite Museveni's warlike tone, Uganda and Kenya remain deeply interlinked economically, militarily, and socially. The UPDF's trip shows that regional security cooperation remains strong, even when political statements grab headlines. Yet the optics matter. A Ugandan military delegation in Kenya days after talk of war over the ocean is a powerful reminder that in diplomacy, timing is everything.
We recognize the importance of maintaining strong bilateral relations and are committed to expanding them for the mutual benefits of our two nations and our two peoples. I join His Excellency President Museveni in appreciating the significant outcome of the second session of the Joint Ministerial Committee held from May 12th to May 14, 2024 in Kampala, Uganda, which culminated in the signing of 7 instruments of cooperation between our two countries. Consequently, we now have a memorandum of understanding to anchor cooperation between our foreign services institutions, which ensure knowledge exchange and harmonization of structures and content of diplomatic training.
As the cameras focused on Museveni's soundbite, the real story may lie in the quiet meetings at Embakasi and Eastleigh, where uniforms, not microphones, shaped the message. Whether it was strategic reassurance or subtle pressure, one thing is certain: East Africa is watching, because when a president talks of a war and his army walks into a neighboring capital, the world listens very carefully. For Maisha TV, I'm William Juma.